We are carefully following the path of Hurricane Epstein right now. It is a Category 5. It's expected to make landfall sometime very soon. We are now one step closer to answering the question, what did the president know and how old were these women when he knew? How did we wind up with a president and a vice president who wear more makeup than Kylie Jenner and Lady Gaga combined?
Craziness. Meanwhile, the government is shut down and the Republicans who currently are in charge of Congress, they're not even pretending to solve the problem. They have not even been showing up to work.
Jimmy Kimmel and Barack Obama just roasted Trump and JD Vance like they were trying to win a barbecue competition. It was ruthless. It was hilarious. It was the kind of roasting that made the camera crew shake. And when Obama dropped that line, Kimmel nearly left the stage. If you missed it live, don't panic. We're breaking down every unfiltered, unbelievable moment right now.
Meanwhile, with all this going on, he posted up a storm on Truth Social this week, and he covered a range of topics from Biden and his auto pen to photos of his new ballroom. He bragged about getting the keys.
He's currently on the air, and to the extent that he isn't in certain stations, it's because he's not funny because his ratings aren't very good.
I have some good news for you, J-Dog. We're back on all the same.
Here's a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems since he rode down his golden escalator 9 years ago. It has been a constant stream of gripes.
Jimmy Kimmel steps into chaos the same way someone walks into a kitchen where the smoke alarm won't stop screaming, calmly observing the mess President Trump keeps leaving behind. Every stumble, every meltdown, every dramatic moment that turns routine politics into supermarket tabloid theater gets treated like premium comedy fuel. The spectacle refuses to shrink. It only grows louder by the hour.
Both the House and Senate voted to release the long-withheld files related to a man who considered himself to be Trump's closest friend for more than a decade, the late sex criminal Jeffrey Epstein. The vote in Congress went 427-1. It was such a landslide, Trump might actually be able to rebury the Epstein files under it. The Senate today sent the bill to the White House. Now, usually when Trump gets a bill, he declares bankruptcy and doesn't pay it, but this one,
If you're enjoying this video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Barack Obama follows with the kind of delivery that makes Trump's most chaotic moments feel like they're being narrated by someone grading a science fair project made entirely of glue. He points out how the president tries to stretch every minor inconvenience into a declaration of greatness. The contrast lands with a thud, so heavy it echoes. Even JD Vance can't dodge the fallout.
There's the childish nicknames, the crazy conspiracy theories, this weird obsession with crowd sizes. I heard someone compare Trump to the neighbor who keeps running his leaf blower outside your window every minute of every day. From a neighbor, that's exhausting. From a president,
Jimmy Kimmel swings back into the spotlight by showcasing JD Vance like a man who desperately wants to look important, but keeps tripping over the script of what he thinks power feels like. The transformation from best-selling storyteller to presidential hype man becomes a sitcom arc nobody asked for. Each attempt to stand taller only makes him wobble harder. The spectacle keeps aging and fast forward.
Vice President Maybelline was making the rounds, attempting to defend his boss and the chairman of the... Trump hasn't been this nervous about signing something since Don Jr.'s birth certificate. And he's not the only one. Speaker Mike Johnson, who shut most of Washington down for like 2 months to try to avoid this, very much wanted to amend the bill to allow them to redact names to protect the innocent. His fellow Republican majority leader in the Senate rejected that idea, which was very upsetting to the Speaker of the House.
I'm deeply disappointed in this outcome. I think
Barack Obama picks up the thread by outlining Trump's talent for turning every podium moment into a victory lap no one else saw. He highlights the odd rhythm of boasting that grows louder the more unsteady the situation becomes. JD Vance trots behind, holding the metaphorical pom-poms like he signed up for the wrong competition. The energy spirals with impressive commitment.
Country and our politics are in a pretty dark place right now. It's hard to know where to start because every day this White House offers up a fresh batch of lawlessness and recklessness and mean-spiritedness.
Jimmy Kimmel moves in with that sharp observational sting, painting Trump as a man who wakes up every morning ready to announce a triumph before remembering he hasn't actually achieved one. The bravado beats the reality every time. Like a drum that refuses to stay in tune, JD Vance tries to keep pace beside him, playing backup dancer to a routine that never hits the rhythm. The confusion becomes entertainment at its finest. The president leans heavily on theatrics, as if political turbulence can be conquered with a little extra swagger. JD Vance echoes that swagger, with a level of enthusiasm that borders on enthusiastic cosplay. The entire display carries its own strange gravity. Jimmy Kimmel continues the roast by pointing out how Trump treats press appearances like his own version of show and tell, except the items he brings rarely match the story he's selling. The mismatch becomes a comedy sketch waiting to happen. JD Vance applauds every misalignment, as if hoping the applause alone will earn him credibility. The dynamic plays out like a recurring sitcom gag.
The House will vote, and we'll see how that goes. Turns out all Trump had to do was threaten to starve poor people, and he got his way. I'm sure he'll never do it again, though. Speaker Mike Johnson praised the bill, which is kind of all you need to know. He said he's glad Democrats are finally ready to do what the American people have been asking them to do for weeks. Great, and then maybe you'll finally be ready to do what the American people have been asking you to do for months and release the...
Barack Obama keeps the momentum going by stamping Trump's decision-making with the tone of someone reviewing a very confusing instruction manual. Each plan seems stitched together with hope, luck, and the assumption that people won't notice the loose ends. JD Vance hovers proudly as if each unraveling thread is actually a badge of honor. The unraveling becomes part of the rhythm. Jimmy Kimmel sharpens the edge by painting Trump as a man who tries to spin every awkward moment into a heroic tale, usually with the confidence of someone convinced the story will stick through sheer volume. Barack Obama leans in with precision, explaining how Trump's leadership style feels like a collection of bold declarations assembled without the instructions. The pieces almost connect, but never quite lock. JD Vance presents each half-assembled idea like it's a masterpiece ready for display. The misalignment grows into a pattern that practically roasts itself.
And the reason some people think, well, I don't know, I remember that economy when he first came in being pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good, because it was my economy. We had 75 straight months of job growth that I handed over to him. It wasn't something he did. I had spent 8 years cleaning up the mess that the Republicans had left.
Jimmy Kimmel highlights the melodrama that follows Trump everywhere, framing even the smallest inconvenience as a cosmic challenge only he can overcome. The self-mythologizing turns routine events into operatic performances. JD Vance stands ready with the enthusiasm of man front row as show he doesn't fully understand. The result is comedy built on pure confusion. Barack Obama counters with a breakdown of how Trump treats every setback like a plot twist in a story that desperately wants to be gripping. Yet the twists land with more noise than substance. JD Vance clings to each moment with the zeal of someone reciting lines he learned 10 minutes before curtain. JD Vance applauds as if every misfire is evidence of genius. The crowd doesn't know whether to laugh or look away, so laughter wins. Barack Obama delivers the next punch by pointing out how Trump's plans expand and collapse with the unpredictability of a balloon animal made by a very optimistic clown. The confidence never wavers, even when the shape does. JD Vance enthusiastically presents each misshapen result as a long, aided masterpiece. The visual writes its own satire. Jimmy Kimmel digs deeper into the spectacle, describing Trump's grand announcements like fireworks that sparkle for a moment before turning into a cloud that makes everyone squint. The enthusiasm never fades, even when the shine does. JD Vance stands proudly beneath the haze like it's a badge of loyalty. The entire performance drips with unearned triumph.
He raged about the price of beef. He plugged his son Eric's book. He bashed Nancy Pelosi. He complained about voter ID. And we learned he's trying to get the NFL to name a stadium after him. Trump reportedly wants the Washington Commanders to give him naming rights to their new stadium. Why would anyone ever want to name anything after Don? I mean, look at Don Jr. It's not exactly a winning.
Barack Obama continues the rhythm by presenting Trump's energy as a constant push toward proving a point no one else remembers. The effort grows so dramatically, it develops its own atmosphere. JD Vance remains ready with unwavering excitement, even when the purpose of the moment slips from the scene. The awkwardness becomes part of the comedy. Jimmy Kimmel shifts focus to how Trump approaches every headline like a project he must decorate, embellish, rewriting the edges until they resemble something flattering. The oversized presentation becomes part of the charm. JD Vance clings to each claim with the energy of someone defending a castle built from wet cardboard. The defenses sag with spectacular consistency. Jimmy Kimmel keeps the roast rolling by treating Trump's public image management like a hobby gone off the rails. The frantic polishing never stops, yet the shine remains uneven. JD Vance remains right there, offering encouragement while the cracks continue to appear. The contrast hits harder than the punchlines themselves. Barack Obama returns with his signature calm analysis, stacking Trump's miscalculations into a tower of mismatched expectations. The tower wobbles under its own imbalance. JD Vance hypes the effort with all the gusto of a man trying to sell an incomplete puzzle. The missing pieces glare through every boast.
Extreme views were not in my White House. I wasn't embracing them. I wasn't empowering them. I wasn't putting the weight of the United States government behind extremist views. And that is when we have the weight of the United States government behind extremist views, we've got to...
Jimmy Kimmel continues the fire by turning Trump's daily proclamations into a running gag, where every claim grows taller than the last. The height reaches cartoon levels quickly. JD Vance loyally supports each new layer of exaggeration, as if he's building a monument to uncertainty. The monument leans more with each addition. Barack Obama dives back in with that unshakable tone, making Trump's political theatrics feel like performances crafted for applause that never lands. The gestures grow bolder to compensate. JD Vance clings to the showmanship with unwavering enthusiasm. Even when the stage lights flicker, the disconnect sharpens the satire. JD Vance cheers from the corner with relentless optimism. The routine cycles beautifully. Barack Obama returns with a breakdown of how Trump treats policy like a buffet where nothing pairs well, yet everything is taken anyway. The plate becomes a mystery of mismatched decisions. JD Vance displays it proudly like fine cuisine. The result is an unforgettable comedic feast. Jimmy Kimmel heightens the energy by describing Trump's public setbacks as episodes in a saga fueled by dramatic narration and unnecessary fanfare. The bigger the mishap, the louder the celebration. JD Vance hoists those moments like trophies forged from pure confusion. The comedic weight doubles.
Washington down for like 2 months to try to avoid this. Very much wanted to amend the bill to allow them to redact names to protect the innocent. His fellow Republican majority leader in the Senate rejected that idea, which was very upsetting to the Speaker of the House.
I'm deeply disappointed in this outcome. I think I've been at the state dinner. I don't know. I was just told that Chuck Schumer rushed it to the floor and put it out there preemptively. It needed amendments. I just spoke to the president about that. We'll see what happens.
So do you think he may veto it? You say you spoke to the president?
I'm not saying that.
Is he supportive of it in its current form?
We both have concerns about it, so we'll see.
Poor little guy had to get out of there before the ketchup bottles started flying at his head. They are so scared of Trump. What is going on? Is he beating them? I don't get it. They just blindly defend him. They don't know what's in those files. They're taking his word for it. They're taking the word of someone who paid a porn star $130,000 and claims he didn't do it.
Barack Obama keeps the flow steady by shaping Trump's actions into a storyline where the hero keeps tripping over his own cape. The cape grows longer with every boast. JD Vance lifts the trailing fabric with unwavering dedication, unaware the fabric is dragging through chaos. The drag marks become a visual punchline. Jimmy Kimmel continues pushing the pace by outlining how Trump turns every statistic into an art piece painted with the broadest strokes imaginable. The colors spill everywhere. The contradictions pile up. JD Vance presents each one like a prized gemstone. Despite the lack of sparkle, the irony gleams brighter than the gems. Jimmy Kimmel wraps the energy around Trump's relentless quest to appear victorious in moments no one else can decipher. The confusion becomes its own legacy. JD Vance marches beside him with pride that outshines reasoning. The brightness is pure comedy. Barack Obama steadies a final stretch with a smooth assessment of Trump's ongoing theatrics, all delivered with a tone that makes the chaos sound almost artistic. The artistry remains questionable.
You know, a lot of people have asked me lately whether I'm surprised by the direction the country's taking. And even though I am the hope and change guy, I try to be honest with them. So I say yes, there are things I am worried about. I am worried about how quickly basic democratic rules and norms have been weakened. I'm worried about how willing Republicans in Congress have been to surrender their role as members of a co-equal branch of government, refusing to buck the president even when they know.
JD Vance holds up each chaotic piece with pride, unaware the frame is slipping. The slip becomes a perfect ending note. Jimmy Kimmel picks the momentum back up by framing Trump's latest blunders as a traveling performance where every city gets the same chaotic routine with even more misplaced confidence. The show keeps expanding even though the audience never asked for an encore. JD Vance stands close, polishing each misstep as if it's a collector's item with hidden value. JD Vance beams with pride as if witnessing the birth of brilliance. Even though the tower leans, so far it practically waves. The unsteady display becomes its own source of laughter. Jimmy Kimmel steps in again, shaping Trump's reactions into scenes that look like spontaneous improv gone rogue. The intensity builds as if the president believes energy alone can patch the cracks. JD Vance hovers right behind, nodding with unwavering excitement as though cheering on a volcano mid-eruption. The eruption sputters, but the enthusiasm stays loud. Barack Obama closes the added stretch with a smooth, steady tone that makes Trump's latest decorations sound like chapters from an unfinished novel written at lightning speed. The plot twists never settle. JD Vance guards each shaky plot point with the pride of someone convinced the draft is already a bestseller. The comedy lands perfectly as the spectacle continues without slowing.